my thing. But really appreciate you coming out tonight on Thursday night. But we just had this meeting. We called this meeting because we want to talk about a very big endeavor we're trying to pull off this year. It's an end of trip that we're trying to do. It's a very big one, and I want to talk about some of the specifics that we're trying to do this year. I know that you had the smaller trip yesterday or last year to San Francisco, and that was fun. But we really this is almost October. We're trying to plan now for the end of the year. So that would be in May. So we're trying to plan something for the kids that's going to be kind of a bigger and a little bit more challenging in some ways, and also musically stimulating for them. So we've got a kind of a slideshow here, just something I want to talk to you about, and then to talk about some of the specifics and see if we could actually do this thing that we're trying to do, which is this end of year trip for the entire music department. So I'm just. You just want to just click through this?
Okay.
Okay.
I can click.
Okay, you can click.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So, thank you. So I'm Daniel Andrade. I'm the band director here, and this is Miss Choi. She's also a music teacher here. She's our orchestra choir director. Of course, Mr. Ben Faubert, who is our curriculum director this year, and instrumental, if I could use that fun, in our program and helping us to get all this stuff off the ground. So we're very happy to have him here. So this is the basic details of what we're trying to accomplish here. The end of year music department trip. And that would be the whole band, orchestra, and choir. And we're talking about probably 135 students if everyone attended. That'd be about the number there. And the trip is to Southern California, the Forum Music Festival, which we traditionally have done pretty much throughout the district. This one is held in Southern California, so it's the same company. They sponsor it, and they're also the trip planners for the other things. So the SoCal Forum Music Festival, there's also a Disney performance while we're down there in SoCal. And then we have an opportunity to see a performance by the LA Philharmonic, which is a fantastic, wonderful experience with a very, very famous conductor, actually. And our trip planning is May 2nd to May 5th. So that would be a Thursday through Sunday trip. The basic plan for that would be to leave Thursday morning. We spend the night Thursday night. Friday, we'd have our Forum Festival. That evening, we would go to, Thursday, we'd go to Medieval Times and have dinner. Friday, we have the Forum Festival. We'll see the LA Philharmonic. Saturday would be a performance at Disneyland with the various groups. And then they have the rest of the day to play at the park. And then Sunday, on our way back home. So this is where it comes down. This is sort of the point of the meeting. This is where it all comes down. It really does. So we've just projected. We have a more or less framework of what we're looking for in terms of funding for the trip, and it looks pretty much like that. The bus itself, as you can see, is about $39,000, and that would be able to carry all of our students. That'd be 135 students plus chaperones. And then we're estimating on top of that about $950 per student. So the point of our meeting really is to talk about fundraising for that trip. If we could make that happen, that's the cost that we'd be looking at. So basically, the more we can raise, the less we would have to put out of pocket if we were going to be able to do this trip. So we're really pushing the fundraising this year. We are in the process. I think our booster club is up and running. I think they just took a vote and got the officers in place. So we're looking to the boosters also to help us come up with ideas. But of course, everyone can be a member of the booster club. And if you have fundraising ideas, that'd be wonderful. And I'd like to talk more about that. We did our Red Line fundraiser this year. We started that a month ago. In fact, it closes the 30th this month. But we raised about $10,000 that went to our music department. And that was just off that one program. And we were new to that. But I thought, well, that was very, very fairly painless. There wasn't a whole lot of selling chocolates and things. So we were able to raise $10,000. It's amazing how fast that money goes when you're talking about transportation costs, registration fees, competitions, equipment, supplies. It's amazing how fast that kind of money would go. So we're always sort of in that fundraising mode, and I think that's kind of the big idea here for this particular trip. So I was thinking the Red Line would be a good idea, and I'd like to have the boosters maybe take care of that. But if you're a booster member, It'll be really great. They need the support. All parents can be members of the Booster Club. And the main main role of boosters is fundraising. And I guess that's my pitch tonight. Is we're trying to make this happen for our students, and it's it's kind of a common trip. A lot of kids go to Disneyland. Band kids go there, and there's a whole big experience that is set up for them. It's very organized, and it's very common. So we'd like to be able to offer that to our kids. So please consider becoming a member of the Music Boosters, and any fundraising ideas you have are certainly appreciated. And if you need, I could put you in contact with those people. Kevin Christensen is one, and some other parents that are helping out. So that's what we're talking about in terms of fundraising. Go ahead. Okay. Chaperones. This is just some details about the trip. We would need chaperones probably in the neighborhood of, I said 7 to 8, and more like 12 perhaps, for 135 kids. That'd be a ratio of about 12 or 13 students to an adult. And I think that'd be very manageable. The chaperones do not have to pay. They don't have to pay for the trip. So that's a good thing. You go, because you're kind of working, right? So you don't have to pay, but you're there, you're responsible for your group. What else? And of course, chaperones would need a B-level clearance. That's the fingerprinting and the TB check and all that. Hi. And so that would be the other extension of that trip. What our trip, you couldn't. Sorry.
Talk louder.
Oh, talk louder.
Use your outside voice.
Oh, okay, marching band. Here we go. Can you go to that? All right. So, what do we get for all of this? Well, here it is. What's included? Lodging included with the trip is 3 nights in a 3-star hotel in the Anaheim area. It's like Homewood Suites, something like that. It's a nice place. 6 meals are included with that. Breakfast every day at the hotel. We do dinner at the Medieval Times. The kids got excited about that. There's a Buca di Beppo dinner at an Italian restaurant. And then on the day that they're at Disneyland, they get a $20 Disney dining card. So that's what's provided. And the activities that go with this package, we have the Forum Festival, which is that adjudicated festival that we were at last year, only in SoCal. The Disneyland Resort 1-day park hopper. So the kids will perform, and then they have the rest of the day to play. We pretty much close the park. And, of course, the Medieval Times dinner and tournament, and tickets to the LA Philharmonic. And that's all of that included with that package. And that's not including the busing. So that's what goes with that. And that's what we're trying to get the kids to experience this year. And yeah, that's what we're raising funds for. Go ahead, Goody. So fundraising, and I'm just going to bring this up because we just got approved for an on-campus fundraiser, and it's a pancake breakfast here. It's pancake dosa breakfast, which we're very excited about, and we're hoping to have a big crowd come out for that. I'm told we can raise maybe $20,000 just that way, and I'm hoping that's a big event. So that's on the 29th of October. It's a Sunday morning from 7 to 11, and we're going to have student musicians performing, and hopefully have raffle prizes. And it'll be kind of a big event, and we'll have portable griddles, and it'll be a whole big thing out here in our quad area. We're hoping that could really offset some of the cost of the trip. Of course, all proceeds are going to support our high school music department for supplies, equipment, transportation, competition, and festival fees. It's the percussion section. Hi, percussion. So as part of this event, the 1029 event, we just did our Red Line, fundraising. This is the other kind of big one that we want to pull off. We might even be able to do this maybe twice a year. And so we were thinking about raffle prizes. If people thought they had something that would be, something we could raffle off to bring more income, that'd be great. And volunteers to help with the event. So that's 1029, and that's our next kind of big event that we're trying to pull off. So this is just the details of that here at the high school, 1029, 7 to 11 in the morning. And one of our parents is organizing that. And so I've been working with some people in the community to get that advertising out. But we would love for you to be able to spread the word. And I will also send out a flyer. And I think it'll be a really fun thing and be very, very good for the food and also for raising funds. The cost that we're asking for $20 per person. It is a fundraiser. You'll get a lot for your money. I think there's going to be pancakes, dosa, turkey, sausage, eggs, juice, and coffee. I think that's what the menu is. So it'll be a little something for everyone, and for $20, you help out the music department. So that's our big fundraiser coming up on the 29th. And what else we got? And now it is Q&A. So this is where we can take questions about that. I hope I've given you what I have on this overview, but if you have questions about the trip, any details or things that you'd like to ask, Ms. Choi and Mr. Faubert certainly, and myself certainly help, willing to answer those for you if we can today. So any questions from our audience? Yes, sir, go ahead.
So city, state don't fund these activities. It's truly by fundraising activity.
Most of it's fundraising, and a lot of the money has been allocated already for competitions that we have. So I have the marching band. We go to festivals and trips like that. So the money gets spent throughout the year, and by the end of the year, that's why we have to raise the funds, because throughout the year, it's not just sitting there all year. We have, for example, the marching band is going on some competitions in November. So there's transportation fees that are involved with that. So the money is sort of always being used in some way. It never just sits there. That's why we're kind of in this fundraising mode all the time. Yeah.
The two events which we have, one for I think forum you call it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like more the high schoolers come in, it's a competition or
Yeah, so they have two different levels. There's high school, middle school, and we'd be in the high school category. And it is an adjudicated festival in front of a panel of judges. We pick certain pieces that we think we're going to be very, very good at, and we perform on a stage in front of these judges, and they evaluate us. And then we get, hopefully we will place, they have 3 different ratings: gold, silver, and bronze. Last year, the band received a gold rating, which was really nice. And so that's what we're shooting for. It's also good for the students, right? It makes them feel good. What an accomplishment. I took the Hanson band there as well. They won gold. It was great. So that's what it is, adjudicated festival. And they have a chance to participate and kind of feel that experience of performing in front of people who are now, actually evaluating you, not just there for entertainment, but kind of clinicking you in a sense of telling you, they give you an evaluation afterwards, how the performance went, things that could be improved. So it's a very good educational experience as well. Yeah.
Usually the adjudicators are college level professors, music professors. And the interesting thing that we like about the festival forum is that it's not a competition in the sense that somebody gets first prize, second prize, or third prize. They are rating gold, silver, or bronze is based on the national standards of music. So it's a national competition, I suppose, right? But all the groups can receive gold if they've earned it. So this is where our shift is not, our interest is not so much in competition, but more in, the success of our groups competing with themselves, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And then those adjudicators we get a clinic with them. There's 2 adjudicators per group. We get written notes. We get oral notes. They tape record them. No. Audio record them. No more tape recorders.
Yeah.
And
Digital recording.
Digital recording. And then after the trip, we listen to them with the students and we evaluate. So that's our follow-up also with that portion of the festival. So that's the main part of of why we want to be able to go somewhere and do this. And we get to watch and hear and see other student performers perform. So not only are we performers, we're audience members and vice versa. So there's that environment as well.
I would add, as a former music teacher myself, one of the things that we're trying to do at Mountain House High School is to teach students the real world skills that people in each of the industries have. This is the music industry, and it is very common for musicians to tour. It gives them the experience of figuring out how to take care of their instrument while they're traveling, how to work together with the team while they're traveling. That is very common in the music industry. I toured in college with my college jazz band to Australia and Samoa for a month. And it's just part of the music industry. We want to make this real for the kids. If you're in a music class, we don't want you to just play in the band. We want you to know, in the music industry, if you eventually make this a part of your life, you could be touring around as well. So it's actually teaching real world skills in the industry of music.
And the exposure would be like national level, not just like California.
That's correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like when I was in college, we played at the Sydney Harbor Jazz Festival, and our college band was the closing act of the entire thing. And so, you have that opportunity to be seen on a wider stage.
This particular trip is going to be open for the band. It's going to be open for freshmen through 12th grade. Yeah. So it's our symphonic band, and they sound pretty good, by the way. They're doing pretty well.
So for our choir, we have 2 choirs. It would be grades 9 through 12. And our orchestra would be grades, I guess, 6 through 12. We have some middle schoolers who are in our advanced middle school orchestra students who are in our high school orchestra. We have 3 high school orchestras. So we are inviting middle schoolers. I see some of those families here. So, we want them to come and be involved because they are part of this ensemble, and they come and rehearse with us, and they add to the group. And so we want to be able to provide this opportunity for them as well.
Can I add too? I think one thing that's really important is, the college applications process now is very competitive, and they're no longer just looking for A-making machines, right? Our kids can't just get A's and get into the top colleges. The way kids distinguish themselves and get into those schools is by having experiences like this and being able in their personal statement, or if there are essays for that school, to be able to draw something out of their high school experience that's unique. That's not just, I was on the speech and debate team, or I was on the tennis team, because everybody was on the speech and debate team and everyone was on the tennis team. But I was in the band that traveled and competed and got this award, and this is what I learned from that experience. And so, music is something that can make you competitive and stand out in the crowd in that college application process. I think it's a very little accessed secret that, not only do you become competitive, but it also opens you up for financial benefits as well. I'll give you an example of me. I was not a music major in college, but I got a full ride scholarship for playing the trombone because I played an instrument and they needed a trombone player. And so I got a scholarship, right? My wife, who's in the room too, got a scholarship for playing the tuba because she played the tuba, and she was not a music major. Also not a music major. But there are more benefits to sticking with your instrument and then having these experiences, because if that comes out, again, it makes them more competitive, because those schools, those top tier schools, they need members of the band too. And sometimes if you just got a bunch of A-making machines that never did anything, and then all of a sudden one shows up and goes, oh, we need a clarinet player, we need a trombone player, we need a string bass player, we need a viola player, they're going to pick that kid because they're going to think, oh, this is somebody who not only participated in the academic aspect, but wants to be a member of our school community, and we can pull that kid in and make sure that we have a more diverse look at that. So that word needs to be spread by all of our families, because I think sometimes music looks like the afterthought. Oh, it's just the fun thing my kid does. They're just in marching band. No, this is like college competitiveness starts here in the band room. It starts being in the color guard. It starts with being in winter percussion. That's where the competitiveness for college really gets you.
And I was going to also add, I used to teach in Lincoln Unified, and I used to take my Lincoln high school and middle school orchestras to perform at Disneyland. And that is always a really great experience, that I feel like, because you go backstage, you go through the whole process of what it's like to, be behind the scenes and to perform and what happens after. And you're always working with Disney to be able to have that experience as a professional performer, and you're performing there for people to see and hear. And that is part of the reason why we know, the Disney part sounds like fun. It is fun, but it's also that high level performance aspect as well.
So there's a couple of questions online that are about AP tests. So full disclosure, this is near the AP test time. And I know the person online said this timing is not very convenient. Okay, but yes, there are AP tests coming up in the early May, and it can be inconvenient at that time. There's a lot of time on the bus, and we have to teach our children too that sometimes you do these things and you have competing priorities, and you have to figure out how you're going to manage that. College is going to be like that too, right? There's always going to be something competing. You have to figure out, how can I do both things? How can I make sure that I'm giving enough attention to all of these things? And by that time, I'll be honest with you, AP teachers have dialed down the instruction and kids are studying. And so they're reviewing materials. They're making sure they're getting ready for those tests. And sometimes it's just the ticket for kids to go and do something fun and relax for a second to get them really ready to take those tests. Like, don't stress out so much. By that time, you've learned what you're going to learn. No amount of cramming is going to all of a sudden get you a better score on your AP test. But you know what will? A little bit of rest and relaxation.
Otherwise, the brain will not work.
Correct. There's brain research all about that. We can. So yes, I want to acknowledge that this is around AP time. I wouldn't worry that much about it. I would be more willing to say that it might benefit students to be a little bit less stressed out about those things at that time of the year.
Two questions. Is it 130 kids are going there to participate, right?
130?
All of them will be
Potentially, yeah.
performing, or will you pick some kids to perform, or how does it work out?
They all perform.
Yeah.
And they'll all be either marching or playing on the stage. Yeah. The plan for the band is they're going to march down Main Street playing their instruments. So, and then our choir and orchestra will be doing
Performing
stage
on
performance.
stage, yeah. Either at Disneyland Park or California Adventure, depending on what's available and what. But we work with Disney with that, so they are able to organize that for us. And the color guard is going with the marching band, so we're also inviting color guard students because that's part of the music program too.
So there's another question online. Does it affect class grades?
It doesn't really affect class grades. We hope that kids can go. We'll try to make it possible for them to go. We don't want to say no to anybody if they simply can't do it, or for some reason don't want to go. No, we can't say that, because it is extracurricular. It's educational, but at the same time, it is supposed to be a fun thing. So it won't necessarily affect a grade.
Get another question.
Oh yeah,
Do
sorry.
companies support? Let's say if I'm going to go after a company, if they can support funding this thing. Any tips you can offer me?
Companies that want to donate, that's definitely a possibility. Yeah, so it's possible for example, our booster club is a nonprofit. They could receive some kind of donations from corporations to do that. That would be really great.
The school also accepts corporate donations as well, and they'd be recognized by the board for their
Most of the
donations.
corporates, they offer matching benefits.
Yes.
It's really
Maybe that's
great.
an option.
Yeah,
to explore.
Absolutely is. The boosters or the district can provide the tax exempt number for whoever it is that's donating. And you too, if you donate individually, it's a tax deduction for you as well.
The cost per student, $950. Will it go down after the fundraise? I have 2 kids in band, so just.
That's yeah.
That's the
I know.
hope.
Believe me, I understand. Yes, I have kids in band too. So yes, if we can get fundraising, that cost goes down. If we could, more
So
money.
what's the total cost of the whole trip?
The total, it's going to be like $125,000 or $128,000.
So yeah, if you go $128,000 and then we raise $50,000, then you divide the lower number by the number of students
That are
attending, and the price goes down.
Yeah.
So it behooves all of us, because my son is in choir.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, that it behooves all of us to participate in as much fundraising. And then when this DOSA fundraiser comes up, sell a ticket to everyone, even if they can't come. Just tell them they're buying one.
Yes, exactly.
You're buying one of these.
And we're trying to get the advanced ticket sales for that on the website, on the web store. But also tickets will be available at the event as well. So we'll try to get just really hit it hard and get as much as we can.
The marketing would be done by the school or only the band team?
I think I'm gonna have everyone.
The
Saint,
boosters
you
are
know
probably gonna
Saint
help,
Vinod? Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
uh-huh.
She is very, very instrumental in helping, has been in helping me and everyone else. So she's actually helping advertise and market this. And so she's going to be on all of her platforms. And then anybody, I'll send the flyer to all parents announcing this event. And you can share it with your family and friends. And it'd be wonderful if we could have a really big turnout. It'd be really, really nice.
Yeah, if you have a favorite teacher or coach that you want to gift, the $20 pancake breakfast. This is you're like,
Here's
hey,
a
I got
ticket
this. Yeah, and
for
then
you.
that's actually, I as a teacher, I would appreciate a pancake breakfast gift. So,
Is the $950 only the transportation cost, or that's the whole entire cost for a student?
That's separate from transportation. So that's the package that is the Disneyland and all of that.
So what's the total cost with transportation and
It was
everything?
probably $128,000. But for this,
If you were to add that to the
Oh.
student costs, it's like
Oh.
over $1,000.
yeah, it's over $1,000.
And so basically our students can be expected to come up with the rest of whatever isn't fundraised?
If we're going to make the trip work, yes. And so that's why we really want to, starting now to raise as much as we can. That's the reality. Yeah.
So part of this meeting is to touch base with you guys
Yeah.
and find out how you feel about us doing this trip, kind of at this cost, at this time, and in this way, because this is the start of something bigger, right? So last year was that one-day San Francisco trip. This year is the overnight SoCal trip. Next year is, should we say?
Could be Carnegie Hall. It
Our
could,
plan
could
is
be
Carnegie
Hawaii.
Hall.
I don't know.
Many of our colleagues take their students to Carnegie Hall to perform, and
that's an awesome trip.
and I'm jealous because I really want
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And we have the kids who can perform and
Yes.
play at that level.
Yes.
And there are also festivals we've been looking at in Hawaii, at Disney World in Florida, and overseas as well, if we can make that happen. So so yes, we won't do a big trip every
Yeah.
year, but we are going to get bigger.
Yeah.
I guess is the thing. So this is the future. So if we can start thinking this way now and planning now, if your kid's a senior, I'm sorry, but most of your kids you have like younger children coming through. This is the expectation that we want to be able to provide for your children. So they have these experiences and become more well-rounded people. So I can't remember if there was a question. So yeah, Danelle, hopefully the bus prices are just high right now,
Mhm.
and they're higher than they've ever been before, right? So
Higher than they have ever been.
Is
We're
it possible to do volunteers through private transportation to save on those costs?
like
Like parents drive or use the district vans as opposed to
for 100 and
Feel that one.
some odd kids.
because it's,
Could we do it? Yes. I don't know. It's a lot safer for our kids to go on buses than it is to have parents driving, and then you split up. You have to have more more adults who are fingerprint cleared. I think it becomes more logistically difficult.
And then it sounds like both of you have done trips like this in other places before. What percentage are you typically of fundraising? How much are kids actually, in your experience, having to pay? Like how much money are we going to have to cough up?
Well, you've done this trip with your
Yeah.
Disneyland trip, right?
in Lincoln, we had like a per kid price, and then we offered fundraisers, and we also offered a payment plan, right? So parents made their deposit who were interested in going, and then if they wanted to be involved with the fundraiser, they could. They all had essentially their own account. So if it cost like $600 for a trip, then Susie this is how much her parent is paying, $200 this time, $200 next month, and $200 the next month after that. So then that's the payment plan. Or if we're doing a fundraiser per month, I think we did 3, then they had an opportunity to try to do the fundraiser, do the money, and then that goes towards whatever that payment was for that month. So that's how we did it in Lincoln. I think as a student growing up and having gone on trips and festivals as a musician student, we raised money kind of like how we're doing this. There's this whole cost amount. We want every kid to go. So even if So we want to raise the whole amount is kind of the thing. So I don't know, did that answer your question?
So you are anticipating that the fundraiser is going to fundraise 100% of the cost?
I think it depends on I think the fundraising can help. I mean, it depends how much we pull together as a group. That's where it could, if we feel like I'm just gonna, I don't know, donate this much, which is we're super grateful for, but there's also this, we want to be able to make it so that everybody can go. We don't want someone to not be able to go because they can't afford to pay it.
Let me
I don't know
speak
if
to
that makes
that.
sense. Yeah.
There's a law in the state of California that you cannot prevent a student from going if they can't or even won't pay. And if we're requiring students to pay for a trip that we say we're going on, the district can be liable to return any money donated or paid, whether you want the money back or not. So we have to take the stance of everybody who wants to go is going. And then we just push to fundraise as much as that we can. And it may come down to us saying, look, we need more donations. We need X amount per student, please, so that we can make this amount work for us. So if you want to ask me, I think that there will be an ask eventually for you to donate money to this. But remember, you're donating. This is why it makes it also tax deductible to you. You're donating to the program, not to your kid going on the trip. This is a communal pot of money where we are going to go. So any money that you do donate will be tax deductible, which is kind of a nice benefit as well. And if you have matching funds at your work, that can help too. But we're looking to raise $128,000, and that boils down to a certain amount per kid. And as we go along, then we're going to find out, okay, what that number will go down as we evaluate. And then we're telling you the top number, because if we've fundraised nothing, then that's what every student we're going to ask for them to try and come up with that amount in a contribution, right? So we don't anticipate that there will be zero fundraising. So we don't think it will be the $1,000 a kid. We think that it will be more something in the 500-600 range. I'm thinking, I did my trip to Disney, what was it, 20 years ago, Danelle? And 20 years ago, things were cheaper. It was $350 a student 20 years ago. And that felt like a lot. Remember, we've been on trips before. Yeah, that was a little more than 20 years ago. But things are exponentially more expensive right now. And, I want my own kid to go because I remember those trips. You remember those trips. They're just so fun. And you never forget the memories that you make, and musically performing it, it fills that need in your musical kid, right? To just feel proud of what they've done and the work that they've done. And it's kind of the payoff that they get to go and they get to be independent a little bit, and they get to play with their friends in the middle of the school year and all that kind of stuff. So we got some.
As a member of the boosters, I think what they're asking is that everybody be involved.
Yes, please.
Because
Yeah.
if 10% of the parents try to raise the money, we'll make 10% of the money.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it becomes really a full program engagement throughout the year to make it happen.
Yes.
You're saying, well, the specifics of what it looks like are to be determined, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and yet everyone can help make those specifics look like a fundraising program that will work for everyone and will maximize.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
I
this
agree.
is Paul Reen. This is our music board treasurer. So thank you so much, Paul, for doing that.
So Carnegie Hall, my junior year of high school, I went to my sophomore year. My senior year, I went to Las Vegas, Nevada, and performed on the Strip. Sir,
I've done that trip too, and I'll never do it again. I don't know why we did that.
How on earth do high school students run loose on the Strip? I don't understand.
Never again. We're not taking your children to Las Vegas ever.
it's not to the
Yeah, when does it
DOT.
due?
So what's that deadline when we have to cut it off and say, okay, now this is the amount
Mhm.
and we need to start,
Okay, so from the time of registration, which was a week ago, they need about $10,000 up front for the plan, and then there are specific dates, and the last one is due, I think, in February. So I
it's
would
soon.
also provide that with those deadlines as well to make sure we're falling within that. But so they want it fairly quickly, right? They want some form of deposit, some buy-in, you could say, fairly soon.
At what point of time we are going to take a call whether to go or to stay? It's a lot of money we're talking.
Well, I would probably, we talked about sending out an interest form and so some form of willingness to commit.
Mhm.
And that would be very helpful for us to plan too what we're going to do. I think that's important so we don't get ahead of ourselves thinking we're going to do something that actually isn't being supported. So I think that we would let you know maybe the interest form, and we could send that very, very, very soon.
Right. I think we want to avoid some of the miscommunications of the past, which is why we're having this meeting to make sure like we want you and your children on board before we make a decision about where we're going and how much it costs. So that's what we're doing. And after this meeting, are you guys going to send something out?
Yeah.
An interest
form.
a Google form to say, yes, we're in, right? And we'll see how many want to go. And I think that part of that the directors need to decide, okay, if only these kids go, is there a band, right? Can I do the instrumentation correctly so we're going to want to know from every last kid, yes or no, who's going, so that we can say, is this a go or not? And then we'll start probably saying, make a down payment on the trip.
Exactly.
My kid is supported by the family. So there are questions when you start that red line, they ask those questions. This is a very instrumental. I would like them to see the product of like the video. If we can give them the clip, that will make them proud too. So that's my ask. I will be supporting that my kid and the group, and let's see how it goes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There's a couple of online questions just really quick. One is, when do we enroll for being a chaperone? That'll probably come as soon as we make the decision whether we're going or not and see the interest. And then one is, where's the link to become a booster member? Is that up yet somewhere? Nowhere yet? Okay. Still to be determined. And then besides selling tickets for the fundraiser, how else can we help fundraise?
How else, indeed. We're always open to ideas. I really got kind of sparked when you said corporate donations, which really was. But anything, I think the days of the car wash on weekends is not really going to work out with the kind of expenditures that we're looking at these days. So we have to think on a kind of a bigger level to get as much as possible. So I'm thinking about just a larger thing. I like the corporate donations thing. The Red Line fundraising was a quick and fairly painless way to do that, and I hope we can do that again, maybe in January.
The Red Line fundraising.
Yeah, what is Red Line fundraising?
Yeah, so they're an organization that works with bands and athletic teams around the country, and it's an event where people basically get a list of 25 people, and they contact them for direct donations. Would you please help support the music department? And that's pretty much what it is. And a lot of people are very responsive to that because they'd rather do that than say buy gift wrap or seize candies or something. It was just, let me give you $50 and be done with it.
And that's in the beginning we talked about. We raised almost $10,000 with that. So that's already money for our program that we've raised.
Yeah, we raised more money in doing that one thing than we did with the lollipops last year.
Absolutely.
And where's that money?
Yeah. Which money?
Red Line.
The Red Line goes straight to
the ASB funds.
Goes to the
ASB funds.
I just want to know if it's designated for something specific.
Right. It's for the trip, right?
We want to use it for the trip.
Yes.
So if there's ASB funds, or when the boosters have their fundraisers and their raffles and stuff, and they make money, this is general money for the program. So it could be for this trip, it could be for a future trip, it could be for a different trip, it could be however we want to use it, because it's so. I guess we don't want. Let's say we need $120,000. And then we don't have to stop at $120,000. We could keep going because there's going to be another thing next year and the next year. And it's just, we're kind of a new booster group and a kind of a newer community and a newer school, but there are programs that their money rolls over. They do the fundraiser all the time, every year, all year long.
It gets bigger
and
and it
gets bigger,
snowballs.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the culture and the mentality is that we all just do these activities together because it helps all the kids in whatever experience we want to provide for them.
Absolutely.
I think last year we had a winter festival, I guess.
Mhm.
So that would be one of the
Mhm.
options to generate
Yep.
funds.
We could do that for raising funds. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, you're going to send an interest form out.
We'll send the interest form out, and that'll be the kind of spark plug we need to
Yeah.
make it happen. If it and we're basically pretty much parent driven, actually, right? If we want this to happen, then they'll have to have the involvement, and then we'll go from there.
We'll also send the video recap of the meeting and the slide deck to all parents in the programs so that they have it along with that Google
Yes.
form. Any other questions?
Can you repeat the date of the trip? I missed it.
It's May 2nd through the 5th.
Do you want to go back? Yeah.
2nd to 5th.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd show a picture here of our marching brigade, and they're just looking fabulous. And I was really hesitant to bring up the trip, but I said it's a possibility. We're trying to do this, and that's our presentation. That was what we bring to the experience. I just want you to see how proud they are, and they're very excited, and they sound really good, by the way. So a little plug there for the band.
All right.
An announcement, I guess, or some information about how to get involved in boosters. There will be more information.
Okay.
But it sounds like the band app will be the place where that communication will happen.
Okay.
I think Rudy at least has sent something out to choir and orchestra.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure that the information on how to get engaged there.
So really, like,
Other thoughts about some-
as a parent and the former principal here, the success of this program is going to rely on the parents. We have to have you involved. Before I was here in Mountain House, I was at Amador Valley High School in Pleasanton. Their marching band is 250 students. I traveled with them to London to the New Year's Day parade. It's an amazing opportunity. 200 and some odd kids at the London New Year's Day parade. We filled almost an entire airplane. And so it's just a really great opportunity, but it only happens when you as parents, it's going to take some time. Volunteering, it also means volunteer opportunities for you too. We need you to dedicate the time when those things go out that say, we have a fundraiser, we need you to spend 1 hour. If every single parent in this group, in all of the groups, just spent 1 hour each, that's like 130 hours of volunteer community service. We could cover everything, every volunteer opportunity, and then really get it going. The more we can do this, the more we can give to our kids. And that's really what it's all about. So thank you for coming tonight. Yes.
Kevin says that he's calling a next booster meeting on October 12th, and more
Okay.
information will come out through the band.
We'll send information out. And if you get information about how to join the band app, join it. Because that's how the boosters communicate to all of the parents. And that's really where it all begins. Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.